Hi, my name is Dean Sather, Director of the Becker County Historical Society, and today we have broken the shackles of the building that we had just hibernated in over the past 5 months, and we are outside on a glorious spring day. Why are we outside? Because I needed to get outside. But what we're looking for here is where is history around us? Well, this is one of the fun things that I get to do as both the director of the museum and, of course, as a frustrated archaeologist and a more frustrated education person. We're looking for things that might still exist underground and trying to go after the features that played a key role in the history of Becker County. So join me on an external excursion in the search of the Tyler Hotel. We'll be right back. Right after I started here working at the Becker County Historical Society, I had to spend 4 or 5 months inside the building, of course. I started in October and winter hit almost immediately. And it wasn't until March or April the following year that I was actually able to get out, spread my wings, and start looking at some of the other features of history here in Becker County. Visiting various cities, Audubon, Lake Park, Callaway, White Earth, Frazee, Ogama, looking at other features that we might have intact around us that aren't necessarily sequestered in the museum, and trying to see how we could fit those ideas into the idea of presenting history of Becker County. It's still around us everywhere we look. On one of those day trips, me and one of my board members were out here in the northeastern part of Detroit Lakes, kind of up in the industrial park, just kind of looking around, and we came across an interesting feature. Now, of course, for me, being a frustrated geologist as well, I saw this depression in the ground, and it kind of struck me as odd. And I wanted to find out just possibly what this depression may be, how it fit into a picture. Now, of course, being excited, about geology and everything, I was thinking, well, could this possibly have been an extant bed of the old Pelican River where it used to go? Well, of course, looking at maps and figuring out just where the Pelican River used to run through this part of town, it's unlikely that this is where that happened. But it did spark something in me, and it got me thinking about another aspect of history. As we look back into the early history of Detroit Lakes, one of the features that continually pops up is Tylerville. The Tyler Hotel, which used to stand in this part of the city long before the city was formed. Now, the Tyler Hotel was established by Melvin Tyler back in 1870s. He was the first white settler in this township of Detroit. And it's kind of a significant feature when you start thinking about the important part this hotel played. Well, we know from historic accounts that it was located north of the railroads and near the banks of the Pelican River. Now, of course, you might well imagine we are well north of the railroad tracks, and we have this little anonymous depression here. Of course, I got excited thinking possibly we might be onto something, might be able to locate where the Tyler Hotel was once located, and, being a frustrated archaeologist, have the opportunity to actually do some excavations to see if we can find something there. The reason for this has something beyond simple archaeology in back of it. The Tyler Hotel played a key role in the development of Becker County, and it's something that would be an absolute gem if we could find it. Now, one of the fun things that I really enjoy about my job is, of course, being proven wrong, and it happens on numerous occasions, as many of you can attest, and many of you have. But what I enjoy is finding out that things are a little bit easier at the same time when I'm proven or corrected. Now, the fun thing is that when I saw that depression back there, I'm a greenhorn, new to the area, not really looking at anything, but recognizing that the Pelican River had been channeled to a certain degree and moved from its original location, I was a little dubious. But of course, all you have to do is drive another quarter-mile further east of where we were, and lo and behold, you have the Pelican River, and you've got this wonderful opportunity to see the area around you. Now, of course, I'm also not saying that this is the original bed of the Pelican River, but it is the lowest part of this area, and is obviously the natural drainage for the river, and so it adds a little bit more to it, that maybe we're getting closer to the idea of where the Tyler Hotel was on the Pelican River. Again, north of the railroad tracks and in a lovely area that would really be conducive for that. Now, the reason that this becomes kind of fun to think about and possibly even locate, because here's the tricky part, the river, as you can see, is going all the way through here, turning around over here, coming back up and around over there, and heading off again. What's fun about this is that when we look at the place the Tyler Hotel played in the early development of Becker County history, some of the original meetings were held in the Tyler Hotel to help set up the city government and actually establish the county seat. And so it actually played a very key role. Here we have the house that was built by the first white settler in Detroit Township, official white settler in Detroit Township, and the house that he built playing a key role in getting the municipal government started. Now, aside from all that, I don't think if we excavate at the Tyler Hotel, we're all of a sudden going to start finding documents about the incorporation of Detroit by any stretch of the imagination. But the fun thing is that we do have a lot of history about the people that were at that meeting. We have a lot of history about Mr. Tyler himself and about the events and activities that were going on in Becker County at the time. How much fun would it be to go back and start looking at some of the artifacts that come directly from those events, from that location? What we could learn. Now, in another show, we can go into the boring minutia of what we do with archaeological materials, and trust me, we will. But for right now, it's just kind of fun to sit back and think about imagining where this might be, which kind of gets us back to the idea of what we're trying to do here. Now, we've had the opportunity to spend several minutes out here in the beautiful sunny morning, but now we're going to go back and start showing what some of the other research is all about. That's right. Once you're done with the field work, it's back into the lab. Well, here we are, doing the other aspect of the research that I told you about. Field work is actually an extremely small percent of what actually goes on in any field of investigation. And so now we're back here in our library, our research archive, looking for the other tidbits of information that might help us pinpoint or get some identification as to the location of these sites. Now, what we're looking at, of course, is the Tyler Hotel. And right from the start, we can look at the photograph that you just looked at, or even this one here. It's a beautiful photograph, all original. But what's fun about this one is that, information on the back. Now, looking at this, one of the things that we can find out is that it says it was located in the northwest quarter of Section 34 in the Detroit Township on July 28, 1870. Now, when we were starting to look at that, we go, okay, Section 34, we can start taking a look at that. And we get some of our old historic maps out, and we can start looking at some of the data that we have. So here's Section 34, and we're looking at the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter, right up there, that far corner up here. But one of the things you find out is that the Pelican River is nowhere near there, and neither are the railroad tracks. So in order to be north of the railroad tracks and near the Pelican River, we actually have to move over here to Section 35. And lo and behold, that's where we just were outside. We were in this area looking at this part of the river right through here. And so more than likely, rather than being part in Section 34, it's probably misidentified and it is actually located in Section 35. So this is some of the other things that we can look at and bring this evidence together. Now, the other thing that I brought out here, of course, was my all-time favorite map of all time, ever. It was one of the niftiest things that we've ever been able to find here. And this is that 27-foot long map that shows the highway reconstruction from 1957, the Highway 10. What's fun about it is that the map itself is based on a 1920s plat map, and that's what they did all the drawings on. And so what we have here, starting all the way over here, you can see there's the depot, there's where the world's smallest gas station used to be, the Greystone Hotel. Here's Front Street, here's Minnesota, F Street, we're right here, aren't we? Yes, we are. That's where we're located. But the fun thing is that when you look at this map, you can follow Highway 10 all the way down. There's the old Home Cement Works at the base of Roosevelt. That no longer exists here. But you can see that Highway 10 today kind of goes roughly like this, crosses Roosevelt and then heads off towards the lake. And as we go up here, when we looked at the spot we were at, we came up Roosevelt here, Central Market right there, took the frontage road and worked our way north of the railroad tracks right here until we hit the intersection of the railroad tracks and the Pelican River. Now the fun thing is that this map has a lot of engineering data on it, and we would be able probably to go out to any portion of this area and find a point on the map that is right here and be able to find exactly where that original Pelican River was. Now the fun thing is that of course this continues on and goes all the way to the lake, and you can see where the Pelican River, the original channel, went. But what's going to be fun is being able to take all of this stuff and putting it together, looking at the photographs, trying to get the feel for the lay of the land, and start reading about the history of the Tyler Hotel, and possibly in the near future we'll be able to go out there and possibly poke a couple of holes in the ground and start finding some of the evidence of that original structure. And once we start that, perhaps maybe the floodgates will open and we'll find out a lot more about how people were living their lives and be able to tell a few more stories about the history of Becker County. just by walking out in a little known part of town. My name is Dean Sather, and this has been a little history of Becker County. If you know anything else about this, bring it to me. Let me know those stories, because that's how it all gets done. Thanks. We'll see you next week.